Section 128. Tennyson kind of turns his poetic eye to kind of world events or national national upheavals and current events. Um, he references the red full the red. Let's see. Thrice again the red fool fury of the Seine should pile her barricades with dead. The Seine is the river that runs through Paris, and thrice has a reference to three French revolutions. I was not aware that there were three French revolutions: 1789, 1830, and 1848. Some scholars think he wrote this section years before, and then because he changed the word thrice before publishing. But so three separate French revolutions. And then in line 10, laser or laser, I don't know how that word is pronounced. It refers to a poor, diseased, sickly person. So when he says, ill for him that wears a crown, and him the laser in his rags, he's saying these social upheavals are going to affect everyone, whether you're the highest, most protected monarch in the palace, or whether you're the most exposed, vulnerable wretch in the streets. Molten roar, a flood, fortress crashes. The great eon or aeon sinks in blood. That's line 16. He's talking about just the end of an age, the age of, I don't know what you'd call it, tyranny or monarchy, and seeing the American Revolution and the French Revolution and just a change in the relationship between governments and their people. Let's see, a voice. He hears a deep voice across the storm proclaiming social truth shall spread and justice. So he's caught up in this bright hope for future. Obviously, my perspective is that the American Revolution was part of that and may have kicked it off. That's maybe an American-centric view, but the French Revolution attempting the same things, but having a much more bloody and tyrannical outcome. But just this idea, this hope for more justice and more equity and a brighter future. But it only comes through storm and death. Also, the first two lines may be the ones that mean the most to me. All is well, though faith and form be sundered in the night of fear. What I get from that is that at his very extremity, he didn't feel that the religious forms and practices and doctrines were sufficient to support him in his very darkest days. But then again, as we've just discussed, even in his darkest days, he felt and he heard God's love, and just the section before, love is and was my Lord and King. He's not rejecting faith or religion or he's not rejecting the belief in a higher power, but some of the forms and practices that he was raised with were just insufficient. Faith and form were sundered in the night of fear. Okay. And so you could ask, what what are the forms without faith? And what is faith without those forms? Are they both necessary? And what role do they both play? The forms, I think, allow us to worship communally. The forms allow us to participate in faith, in a faith act or declaration with other people, and that's important. But if the forms are devoid of faith, then it's just empty. You're just going through motions that don't mean anything, and you may be connected to the people next to you, but you're disconnected from God, and that's not good either. So we need both faith and form. That's me reading a little more into this than I think he's saying here, but it kind of leads you to that question. Section 127 now. And all is well, though faith and form be sundered in the night of fear. Well roars the storm to those that hear a deeper voice across the storm. Proclaiming social truth shall spread, and justice, even though thrice again the red full fury of the Seine should pile her barricades with dead. But ill for him that wears a crown, and him the lazar in his rags. They tremble, the sustaining crags, the spires of ice are toppled down, and molten up and roar in flood. The fortress crashes from on high, the brute earth lightens to the sky, and the great aeon sinks in blood. And compassed by the fires of hell, while thou, dear spirit, happy star, o'erlook'st the tumult from afar, and smilest, knowing all is well. I would read that spirit in line 18 would be Hallam. He's not capitalizing it. I suppose you could read it as this Lord of Love, Lord and King of Love from that's whispering all is well. But I read that as Hallam.